Welcome to this explainer. When we think of the ancient Silk Road, we usually picture a dusty relic stuck behind glass in some museum, right? We think of forgotten empires and just static history. But today, we're totally challenging that idea. Because there's actually a place where that ancient history never quite let go. So where does this ancient Silk Road still live? Well, welcome to Kashgar. These dusty, sun-drenched, labyrinthine alleyways reveal a place that really runs on its own unique rhythm. It's not polished, it's definitely not perfectly manicured, and it absolutely demands that you slow down and pay attention to its deeply rooted culture.
Act 1. The Foundation.
2000. That staggering number represents the continuous years of habitation right here in this exact spot. It's literally the oldest continuously inhabited urban settlement in China. The winding alleys here in the Old City, which is really the geographical anchor of Kashgar, were designed as this complex navigation system way before that concept even had a name. The paths are so incredibly narrow that neighbors can literally reach out of their carved centuries-old wooden doors and touch hands right across the street. And right at the spiritual soul of the city is the 15th century Eid Ka Mosque. Built way back in 1442, its yellow glazed brick walls just glow so warmly in the morning light. It's this nearly 6th-century-old architecturally masterpiece. And get this, thousands still gather there daily to pray. It maintains this incredibly powerful rhythm of life that has barely flinched in hundreds of years. Now, what's really fascinating is the makers of this labyrinth. Kashgar is built and sustained by fiercely independent locals. We're talking about craftsmen hammering raw crowbars over glowing coal. They're carving those intricate wooden doors, laying down complex geometric Islamic tilework, beating massive copper vessels totally by hand, and stamping their own personal signatures into thick Tandoor naan. You honestly get the feeling the whole world could end tomorrow, and nobody in Kashgar's old city would even notice. Act 2. The energy. Okay, leaving those quiet alleys behind, we plunge straight into raw chaos. As one observer put it, this is a scene that would have been entirely familiar to merchants of the medieval Silk Road. Every single Sunday on the outskirts of the city, immense cattle, horses, camels, and these local big-butted sheep are traded at breakneck speed through thick clouds of dust. It is loud, it is incredibly vibrant, and it directly connects the present to the past. And the ancient rhythm of trade here? It's fascinating. You won't find any digital cash registers or QR codes out here. Trade relies entirely on tactile assessment. You inspect the livestock right there in the dirt, vigorously barter over the price, and seal the ancient deal with a firm, undeniable handshake. You'll even see herdsmen meticulously shearing their sheep right in the middle of the crowded market just to help the animals beat the rising heat.
Moving on to Act 3. The Senses.
As evening falls, we dive headfirst into Khan Bazaar. Man, you can practically hear the crunch of the knife cutting through the crispy skin. This is Kashgar's signature dish, whole roast lamb, shining with this spectacular golden oil gloss. It's a primal, highly celebrated feast that locals heavily rely on to soothe pretty much every stomach in southern Xinjiang. And the bread? It's practically local currency here, eaten with absolutely every meal. Freshly baked naan gets slapped right onto the inside walls of these blazing hot tandoor ovens. Each baker dips the dough into a thick mix of chopped onions, black cumin, and white sesame seeds, and then, this is the cool part, stamps it with their own personal spike to make sure it bakes perfectly. Now, if you need a remedy for the weary road, you've got to check out the bubbling pigeon soup served up in these beautiful, time-worn vintage enamel mugs. Locals don't use any complex seasonings here. Instead, they rely on pure flavors and really fascinating traditional ingredients, like dried rose petals, which locals believe promote circulation and activate blood flow. It makes for a clear, sweet, and incredibly fragrant broth. The sheer variety of healing foods in Khan Bazaar is just staggering, perfectly showcasing the flavors brought together by the legacy of the Silk Road. We've got palau, a rich lamb peel-off with carrots. There's samsas, freshly baked meat buns snatched right out of the oven. Need to beat the summer heat? Grab some shaved ice with local yogurt and honey. They've also got camel and goat milk candies that capture the essence of the pastures, fresh pomegranate juice affectionately called red garnet, and the legendary Lao Han melon. It's a fruit so uniquely sweet it tastes like honey, and it's so soft they joke even an old man without teeth could eat it.
Which brings us to Act 4. The Soul.
As the sun finally sets, these ancient courtyards fill with sound.
This is mukam. It's a traditional Uyghur musical mode and dance, but honestly, it is so much more than just entertainment. It acts as a living encyclopedia of the region's culture, history, and love. Think of it as a massive, beautiful vessel, carrying traditions and ancient stories that stretch back well over a millennium.
3,000. That's the number of local musicians researchers have actually traveled throughout the region to interview and record. They are meticulously preserving this fast-disappearing cultural database digitally. It's absolutely crucial work, ensuring that this living history can be shared with future generations and even used to inspire totally new forms of art. Because this art form, it's the ultimate unifier. As the locals say, when you play the music together, maybe 1 minute will be all the friends. It just instantly breaks down barriers between complete strangers. You could be from totally different corners of the globe, but if you sit down on an old rug, share a slice of sweet melon, and play a lute together, you are instantly connected as a community. A bridge between worlds. As our day comes to a close, it really hits you that the ancient charm here isn't some static museum exhibit, perfectly preserved and lifeless behind velvet ropes. No, it is a warm, living fire passed down continuously for hundreds of generations. It's a bridge between East and West, between the ancient and the present. When we look at the thriving, beating heart of Kashgar, it forces us to ask, how can we continue to preserve the authentic soul of our own local cultures? Leaving you with that thought to ponder, thank you so much for joining this explainer. We really hope it inspires you to slow down, look around, and seek out the living history in your own world.